It looks like the fallout of Kanye West's anti-Semitic comments has continued, as Adidas has just revealed that they've ended their billion-dollar partnership with the rapper. In a statement made Tuesday, the company said it does not tolerate anti-Semitism and any other sort of hate speech. Kanye's latest comments are unacceptable, hateful, and dangerous. Adidas said that their values of diversity and inclusion, mutual respect, and fairness had been violated. Now, after this reaction to Kanye's latest remarks, many have asked why was it Kanye's anti-Semitic comments that were the last straw, as opposed to the anti-Black comments over the last few years. But before we get into today's topic, don't forget early voting has started. Voting is not the only answer, but it's a powerful tool we have for change, so don't waste it. If you're in Georgia and need a ride to the polls, call the People's Agenda at 877-524-8683. Today we have our comedy hype analysts, Danielle Miller, Capone, and Pierre calling to the show to give their thoughts and reactions. Pierre, I'm going to go ahead and kick it off with you. I know we've had this conversation, but now we're starting to see, all these relationships and partnerships fall off from Kanye West. I want to ask, are you surprised that Adidas was one of those to end the partnership with Kanye West?
Well, to be a little sarcastic, yeah, because it's a German group, and they're talking about Jewish people. He's talking about Jewish people, and you know how Germans and Jewish people, you know what it is. But it's a business now, and all those days are past. So I can see that. I mean, he's being reckless out the mouth, been reckless out the mouth for a while, and just Adidas had enough of it, and they're showing him that he's not the face of their company, and they got rid of him.
Let me come over to you, Capone. What are your thoughts? Are you surprised that Adidas was one of those companies to say, hey, we're ending our partnership with Kanye West?
No, I'm not surprised at all. That's just from history of what has been done. Take the ideas and make up something and get rid of the person who created it. They've been doing that for years.
Interesting point. Danielle, let me bring you in with the same question. What are your thoughts? Are you surprised that, Adidas has ended their partnership with Kanye West?
No, I'm not. I saw them put the partnership under review 2 weeks ago. I was like, yeah, that's the axe for him. It's gonna come in due time. So I'm not surprised at all with Adidas's decision.
No, I absolutely agree with you all. And I don't think a lot of people are surprised, but there are people that are upset saying, hey, why did it take these comments to say we're ending our partnership with Kanye West when we've heard him say, slavery is a choice, or Harriet Tubman didn't free slaves. And I want to read a comment and come back to you, and I'll start with you, Pierre, when we come back. Ernest Owen says, fact, before Kanye West was the face of anti-Semitism, he was one of the hip-hop faces of misogynoir, anti-Blackness, Trumpism, and slavery denial. And y'all still gave him contracts, documentaries, endorsements, clothing deals, and millions that became billions. Shame. So I'll come to you first, Pierre. Are you bothered that Kanye West's, anti-Blackness comments weren't enough for, companies to say we're ending our partnership?
Yes, but I'm also mad at this week. Are we happy? Are we saving Kanye? We don't like Kanye? Are we up with Kanye this week? Are we down with Kanye? I'm so goddamn tired of Kanye this week. Let's fight for him. I can't stand him this week. Oh, come on, man. So yes, but I do think that it's a shame that not shame, but it took, this anti-Semitic situation to really cut his pockets, deep. But hey, that's their problem. That's what they do. I mean, that's their companies, Adidas don't worry about if BET cuts them off or not. You know what I'm saying? So we're worried about that. I mean, we should have cut them off. If you don't like them, we should have cut them off. They're waiting for the companies to do it and be mad about it if they do it or they don't do something like that. You know what I'm saying? Stop asking for the white man for approval or to save us or to help us or whatever. We do it ourselves. Don't support him if you felt that bad about him, Don't be like, well, now y'all don't like him. Well, how about last time when he talking about us? We ain't, oh, man, come on, man. You know what I'm saying? Let's, all right. Just whatever. I'm just lost with it, man.
Capone, let me bring you in and ask you that same question. What are your thoughts? Are you upset that, Kanye's anti-Blackness comments weren't enough for companies to say, hey, we're ending our partnership. He crossed the line and we can no longer stand behind him?
Well, you know how I feel about that. And if you don't know, by now you haven't watched enough episodes of Comedy Hype to know what I feel. I definitely am upset. They continue to show that we don't mean nothing. That's the agenda. We don't mean nothing. We're not a strong enough community for them to care about to cut Kanye off. Soon as you start talking about the LGB or the Jewish people, then you got a problem. So they say. And this is what they keep bringing into our face. And so anybody who talks about them, be prepared for the repercussions of what you're going to get and probably cancel. And that's what canceling is all about now, right? They canceling him because he talked about this group.
Danielle, let me ask you that same question. Are you upset that it took the anti-Semitic comments as opposed to the anti-Black comments for companies to say, hey, we're done with Kanye West?
So y'all don't come for me in the comments.
They coming. They coming. Don't say that. They coming. They coming now, but you said don't come.
No, I'm gonna say it because it's the truth. It's the truth. I personally am not bothered by it. Reason being is because I know how the world works. I think this ought to be a lesson for our community.
Mm-hmm.
When you come for a particular group of people, it's like, okay, we have a vibe now. Vibe, sorry, that's a Bahamian terminology. We now have an issue. But throughout the years, Kanye has been saying some things about his own community, and we made excuses for him. We still bought his product.
Come on now.
Stand together and say we are not standing for this. Even with the White Lives Matter situation, even with the George Floyd situation, we still wanted to go out and support him. But guess what? When you play stupid games, you win stupid prizes. So he went after a particular grouping of people, and they said, you know what, we're not going to stand for it. The lesson for us to learn in this, in our community, is when you come for us, we're not going to stand for it. So I think we have to follow that lead and do the same thing instead of making excuses for persons like Mr. West.
I like this young lady. I like Danielle.
I like you too. I like y'all too.
I do want to expand on this deal a little bit, right? Because, headlines, of course, are saying that, hey, Adidas is ending their relationship with Kanye West. But I think there are a few specific things, and I'm going to lay up a clip shortly, that I think is important to note. So also in this statement, it says Adidas is the sole owner of all design rights to existing products, as well as previous and new colorways under the partnership. More information will be given as part of the company's upcoming Q3 earnings announcement on November 9th. 2022. Now, before I get you all's comments, I do want to lay up a clip where a lawyer kind of talks about this just a little bit more, and then I'm going to come back and ask you all a few questions. So let's take a look at that clip.
Listen, the streets ain't going to stop buying Yeezys. That's a fact. The question is, those 350s, who owns those? Well, check this out. Adidas says all existing colorways, all new colorways are ours. They're mine. Ye's going to argue, you can't do that. What are they going to do under our contract? You broke it by going out and disparaging and doing this. What do you think the courts are going to do? We shall see. If you think that they're right and Adidas is wrong, look at it. And if I'm betting on what's going to happen, couple months, couple of years, don't bring no 350s around me, but Adidas is going to have them.
Now, Pierre, I'll start with you and a couple things here, right? So I want to get your reaction to, is it wrong for Adidas to say, hey, we're ending our partnership with Kanye West, but we're still going to push and sell Yeezys? And also, do you think people are even going to stop buying Yeezys? Pierre?
Let's take our emotions out of it. It's a business, okay? It's a business. I'm so tired of, us, getting emotional about stuff. It should be this, it should be that. It's a business. He signed that contract. He gone. Them shoes are so popular, they're going to keep putting them out. And let me tell you something. It ain't African Americans are the only ones buying them Yeezys. You got Indians, Mexicans, Puerto Ricans, all kind of white folks. They're buying them, and they're going to continue to make the Yeezy. Well, that community don't care about Yeezy the way we do, as far as being a black man being tossed and turned. Them shoes are still going to sell. In fact, let me pull out my reflectors out my closet, because I bought them for $500. I think I got $1,800 on them now. Okay, I got maybe a little money on a little Yeezy. Okay.
Absolutely. Well, let me ask you this, Pierre. I do have one question there, because I think you make a great point. But if Adidas is saying like, hey, Kanye West has, it's going against our inclusion, it's going against, like, we feel like it's very disrespectful. Being that Yeezy, regardless of if they have Kanye West on board, is still associated with Kanye West, are they really standing behind, not liking the anti-Semitic comments and things like that? Are they really in support, or is it just, like you said, for the business, for the headline, so that they can look good?
It's business.
Well,
Okay, it's been business. Okay, it's business and stuff. Now they can, they can pull him out, yank him out. Unfortunately, he put himself in a position where they could yank him out by disparaging the company or whatever it might be in the contract. And they're like, hey, yeah, we ain't like what you said, but we ain't about to give this money up either. Only we do that kind of shit. Like, I don't like you, man. I'm gonna dissolve the whole company. I ain't selling nothing no more because I don't like you. Not them folks. Them folks say, I don't like you, move on. But we're gonna we like the image and that money you gave us. It's business. Okay. We gotta learn that. That's the white side of me, okay? Business.
absolutely. Well, let me bring Danielle in on this. Danielle, what are your thoughts? Do you think it's wrong for Adidas to say, hey, in the headline, we're ending our partnership with Kanye West, but this brand that we created with him or that he brought on, we're still going to push and sell? And also, do you think people are even going to stop buying Yeezys now that this partnership is dissolved?
In regards to him and Adidas, can I say this? Like, I don't care. Because I think he got what was coming to him. When you continue to do reckless things, you have consequences. And this is just one of the consequences that you have to deal with. Now, when it comes to the other side of if we're going to still purchase it, I pray to God not. But the reality is, it's like what Pierre said earlier, it's not just persons in the Black diaspora that buys his products. It's also Indians, it's people from around the world. But I just think within us as a community, we really, really, really should pause and say, we're not going to support this anymore. I really wish like that's the stand that we would take, especially coming off of so many, like I forgot that whole Harriet Tubman line that was said in the beginning of the show. He was just wilding. So I just hope we stop. I just really hope we stop. But when it comes to him and Adidas, I don't care. That's his consequence. There you go.
Absolutely. And I know you may have mentioned this a little bit earlier, Danielle, but do you think our community just lacks a certain code to say, hey, you know what? We're going to stand together. We're going to stick together. And once it crossed this line, this code means like we're done. We're done up.
I don't think we realize the different levels of slavery we are still captivated by. One of those things is support and knowing our worth. And knowing your worth is not just when somebody says something to you personally. It's knowing when somebody is throwing stones at you, like what Kanye did, and you're not doing anything about it. That's you not understanding that, hey, I don't deserve this. I don't deserve the things that you're saying about me and my brother and sister. What goes to another point that is support. So I think that is our issue. We're not really breaking the different levels of chains of slavery that are enrooted inside of our minds. And that's why other groups, when you come after them, mind you, when Kanye was throwing rocks at us, nobody was looking, everybody was cool, everybody's in their corner, but it's a difference when the rocks is being thrown at you. Now you have to defend. We haven't been defending. So I think now it's time for us to defend.
Well, let me ask you real quick. It's funny you say that. Now we're talking about boycotting, Adidas and all this other stuff. But when he was talking about us recklessly, we were still buying the shoes. So it has to be the white man got to say, I ain't supporting that black brother. Then we start saying, oh, it's like that. Well, we ain't gonna support you. Well, what happened when because he was trashing the white man? Now, when he was trashing us, we were still buying stuff. What's wrong with us? You know what I'm saying? We should have not buying the shoes years ago, if that's what we really meant. You know what I'm saying? That's how we felt. But whatever. Once the white man mad, then we mad too. Oh, please.
A different form of slavery. It's a mind thing.
Capone, let me bring you in on this and get your thoughts as well. I want to get your reaction, of course, to Adidas. We know the headline is they're ending their partnership with Kanye West, but on the latter end, they're going to continue to sell Yeezys. Do you think it's wrong for them to do so? And then also, do you think people are going to stop buying Yeezys at this point?
This is Capone thinking. No, people are not going to stop buying. That's number one. Like Pierre said, it's business. So Adidas have the right, then they're going to do it. But there's also, because I own a pair of Kanye West's sneakers that I bought from the bootlegger, and you can't tell the difference. Kanye needs to go talk to them Chinese people and them Africans and start a new company, because they fight fire with fire. If you're going to take my style, I'm going to take my style back, and I'm going to let the Chinese and the Africans do what they do and invest in them. And we got two of the same sneakers coming out. That's how you do it. Because I personally own a bootleg pair of Kanye West, because I ain't been supporting them anyway, but I just had to try them, and I refused to pay all that money. And so therefore, they the same ones. And so I would go to the bootleggers and create a company.
Would you, Kanye, I mean, Capone, would you buy those shoes if you made some more from the bootleg, from the African and the Asians? Would you buy them? Would you?
I haven't bought them. I'm just talking business.
Right. So would you tell black people to buy them shoes to support him when he goes to the
Black
Asians?
people are buying them anyway.
Right.
But
so
I wouldn't tell them.
Okay. So it doesn't even matter.
I'm not the only one. Bootlegs make millions of dollars. I'm not the only one. I only got one pair of Kanye's, and those are from the bootleggers. But everybody else is walking around with them trying to act like they spent $800, $900. We ain't that stupid. They $50.
I tried to get some bootleg Jordans one time, and he wasn't even playing basketball on the side. He was bowling and shit. I knew it. It's like he's going to bowling ball.
Absolutely, and I think a lot of people, you two are hilarious. I think there's a lot of people that's curious about what Kanye West's next step is going to be now that we're seeing all these partnerships dissolve. But before we head out, of course, you know, a lot of people are kind of looking to see what people around him are saying. And Dame Dash actually was interviewed and lightly touched on his thoughts about what he felt about what's happening with Kanye West. So I want to take a look at that and then come back and get your thoughts. So let's take a look at that clip.
How do you feel about Kanye's vision right now and the things that he's just kind of spewing out? How do you feel about that?
I just worry about him, and I just wish people would stop putting the camera on him.
Yeah, I agree. You feel like he should not be doing interviews right now?
No, I don't think people should be interviewing him.
Mentally, do you feel like he's going through something right now where he just needs to kind of take a step back?
I don't like talking about Kanye because what happens is then I got to hear about it.
Now, Pierre, I want to start with you. I know we also kind of touched on this about the media playing a big role in this, but I want to ask, do you think, you know, media giving him a platform to have these conversations play a big deal in a lot of the things that we're seeing unfold?
Yeah, I respect, what's his name? Dame Dash for saying that, man, because, you know, let's not help him crash and burn, you know, Kanye. Let's not do that, man. You know, we, at the end of the day, at the core of who we are as black people, we do love each other. You know, we may talk about each other and all this, and this man is on the verge of, you see a lot of stuff happening to him, very bad. And we don't need to keep putting the camera in front of him, making him look worse and worse. We're not contributing to his coming up. We're contributing to him flaming out. And I don't agree with, like I said, I agree with him to not put a camera in front of his face. Let him get himself together and let him do whatever he has to do in the dark and come out, you know, in a better position. So I applaud him for saying that, and I agree with him.
No, absolutely. I appreciate you bringing that up. That's a great point. Danielle, let me ask you that same question. You know, what are your thoughts? Do you think the media, by giving him a platform to kind of have these conversations more and more, it's like, you know, exploiting him, if you will, do you think they played a major role in the things that we're seeing unfold?
That's okay.
Please. Can I get like some security after this? I don't think the media, I think the media was doing what the media does. We could complain about the media all that we want, but the media's job is to get a story. And if he is open for an interview, it's like, why not? You know, you're going to get something racy or trending or some big headline out of him. The media was just doing their job. Now, the problem is, where's Kanye's team? Where is his people? Where is the people that's supposed to wrangle him and pull him in and tell him, you know, you can't say this, you can't say that. Where is his PR team in all of this? Is he operating as a one-man band? So I get Dame's sentiments, especially because Dame has a history as well of, you know, he had some mental things that he had to deal with, nothing severe, but just some things that he had to deal with personally. So he empathizes with Kanye. But for me, I wouldn't put it on the media. I put it on his team. Where's your team, Kanye? Why aren't they reining you in? So I think the media is just doing their job. And what we're seeing now from Kanye is a fall from grace. And what I'll be interested in seeing is, and a New York Times article mentioned it, he's been doing this for decades. He's always been causing stir and controversy. He lives in front of the camera. He is an attention-seeking man from the media. I'm really interested in seeing how he's going to bounce back from this.
Absolutely. I think you bring up a great point, especially what we know with media, and as you said, as what we see with media. And that's one reason why I really love what we do here at Comedy Hype, because in our interviews, we've definitely had people say crazy things, and we've took it upon ourselves to say, hey, we're not going to include this we're actually going to cut this out because we feel like it would harm you more than hurt you. So I do agree that there are a lot of media outlets and media outlets that will just push it and say, oh, well, you said it, I'm going to put it out. But here at Common Hip, I really love that we actually take the time to say, hey, I don't think that's a good idea to put out. We're going to cut that out just for, to cover you. And then, we'll move forward with pushing everything else. But great point there. Capone, let me bring you in and ask you that same question. Based on what Dame Dash had to say, what are your thoughts? Do you think the media or outlets have had a big deal in this by giving Kanye West a platform to continue as all this unfolds?
Well, I have to agree with Danielle 100%. The media has a job. It's a job. All of these companies and people are talking about these companies that's going forward. I read earlier, I forgot the guy's name, but he's supposed to be somebody big in Hollywood that actually told all of these companies to cut Kanye off. I don't remember his name, Hugh something. It's just another sign of white people sticking together. And, Kanye, like Danielle said, he's been doing this. It didn't just start yesterday. It started a long time ago. And he's going to continue to do it. $1 billion, maybe $1 million is easy to lose. But $1 billion, just him putting $1 million in the bank, he can live for the rest of his life. So I don't think he's going to be hurt too bad from the companies.
Well, it's interesting. You did say white people stick together, which I agree with.
Right.
It'd be good if black people stuck together and not exploited him like that. Put him in front of interviews and stuff. I mean, I know it's the media, but I don't know why we can't stick together. Why do we have to be getting in the dirt with the rest of those folks? If he wants to go on Entertainment Tonight and CNN, that's one thing. But when we put him on our stuff and our platforms and see him flame out, man, I don't know. But again, I'm half white, half black. I'm confused. I'm whatever. And y'all talking about cutting shit out. Y'all never cut none of my shit out. Make me not look bad. Y'all don't Comedy Hype. You got Comedy Hype. Keep everything I say.
Well,
this part included.
It's opposite. White people are the canceling people, and we're the forgiving ones. We seem to forgive everybody and everything. They want us to forget everybody and everything. You can't talk about the Holocaust, but slavery, it don't mean nothing.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and I think to your point, Pierre, I think it was the shop that chose not to, put out their interview with Kanye West as all this was unfolding. I can't remember exactly what their reasoning was, but just for them to say, hey, we're not putting out, putting out that interview, I think is a great point. And also, too, I think our people need to really cite their sources, really look and see who's writing these articles, who's putting this information out. Because recently there was a post put out by HuffPost that said that Killer Mike was more dangerous politically than Kanye West. And to me, that's just absurd. So just the things that we continue to see push out, I hope that our people really take the time to cite the source to understand where this information is coming from. So again, I appreciate you all for chiming in on this topic. I know it's a tough one. I think it's the end of it. I don't know. We'll see what comes out of it. But before we head out, of course, I want to know what you have coming up. So Pierre, I'll start with you. What do you have coming up and how can people follow you?
I'll be in Atlanta the 29th of October. 29th, whatever, next Friday. I think it's like Saturday. And November 4th, I got a big show in Birmingham at the Stardome. So if you're in Alabama, I'm coming to you November 4th, Friday at the Stardome. And we got a heck of an interview with my girl Big Les, the dancer from all the shows and tours and so on PS Panic Room. Thank you so much. We're creeping on to that 100,000 subscribers. We're at over 92,000 now within a year. I love y'all. I appreciate it. So check me out over there at Comic Pierre. And that's all my handle. That's all I'm gonna say. Oh, but one last thing. We're gonna help Kanye. We're gonna work to help Kanye, and we'll just do about another 4 more shows about him this month.
We're having meaningful conversation.
I know that's right, sister.
Capone, let me bring you in. What do you have coming up, and how can people follow you?
I'm going to be in Harlem for 4 shows at the Harlem Comedy Club. It's a new club out there in Harlem, and that's the 4th and the 5th. It's part of my Taking Over New York tour where I do the Bronx, Brooklyn. I just did Brooklyn this week. And so the 4th and the 5th, I'm going to Harlem. And then I'm in Long Island. So yeah, it was called the Takeover New York tour, the end of the year coming, and I just always try to hit New York every time I finish up a year.
Absolutely. And how can people follow you?
And they can follow me on Instagram. It's very easy. Follow Comedian Capone. And guess what? If you cannot spell comedian, don't follow me.
And of course, last and certainly not least, with the beautiful backdrop in Bahamas, Miss Danielle Miller, what do you have coming up and how can people follow you?
Hey, so I have my fan. It's a wonderful day here in the Bahamas. It's always shining here, always beautiful. And it doesn't rain here. We just have liquid sunshine. That's all we have. So
Wow.
if you're looking for some place to spend some time to get away from all the hustle and bustle, come on down to the Bahamas. You can follow me on Instagram at DA Miller, or just look for Danielle, DENIELLE Miller. You can also look for me on YouTube, and I will be the blonde bald host.
Absolutely. Well, again, I appreciate you.
Can I say one more thing before you close out?
Absolutely.
This is very important to me. My new book is on sale now. I did not put it on Amazon. It's a journal book called Snapback Journal. And it's a very, very inspirational book. So hit me up on Instagram and we'll do the Cash App and we'll get that book to you.
Absolutely. I'll be sure to hit you up as well to make sure I get my copy. So thank you for sharing that. Again, I appreciate you all for chiming in on this topic, but you heard from us, and we want to hear from you in the comments below. What are your thoughts of Adidas ending their partnership with Kanye West? And also, before we go, don't forget to vote. And if you need a ride to the polls and you're in Georgia, call the Coalition for the People's Agenda at 877-524-8683. As Pierre said, of course, I'm going to repeat it again, 877-524-8683. For Comedy Hype News, I'm Symphony Thompson.
Do you know the comedy culture? Play Comedy Hype, the game. Out now.